citizenship of babies born in planes depend on the aircraft's country of registration. That's
What?
insane.
So if you are on a Singapore Airlines flight and you're going from San Francisco to Singapore and your baby is born over the Pacific Ocean, it would be a Singaporean national?
We need to have like a blanket rule of what happens here when out of nowhere you have an infant child. Someone asked me a funny question yesterday, and I didn't really have a firm answer, but now I cannot stop thinking about it. They said, if you could have chosen your own name, what name would you have picked?
Oh, geez. Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, I think I would probably go with something like kind of sick, like River. Kind of cool, right?
Stop.
He's flowing like a river. I would have became a rapper then, right? Oh, his flow's so good, they call him River.
That's like such a white boy rap name. My name is River. I like to do watercolor art, and I'm a fantastic rapper.
You think River is... No, River is hard. I mean, River is a dude that has survived the streets. You know what I'm saying?
River is not in the same category as like Pop Smoke or 44 Bulldog. It just seems a little soft.
Okay, fine. Fair enough. That's what would be yours? You would go with something basic like Amanda, Sarah. Oh, not to offend any.
Yeah,
Amandas,
I was like, don't offend all the Amandas and Sarahs out there. Two of my best friends' names. I would pick something super girly because I grew up with people being like, Connor's a boy's name. So something like Juliet or Scarlet or something like dramatically feminine. I didn't have this answer when I got asked. So I just said Princess Bubblegum, but like now that I think about it, I think those are the right answers.
I mean, Princess Bubblegum, very close second place, but I think Scarlet more suits you. Hello, my name is Princess Bubblegum.
That's what my Siri calls me. That's very funny. Okay. That's like alternate universe chat. We could be anybody in another universe, but some pretty crazy and unpredictable things are happening in our universe right now. Tell me you've seen the news about these tunnels.
I have, but if you can catch me up, because I haven't spent as much time on it. Usually I dedicate each week about, let's call it 3 hours to conspiracy theories, but this week has been so busy, it has been 0 hours. So catch me up on it. I only know headlines.
So basically, structural engineers were attempting to fill in a mysterious underground tunnel that was destabilizing other buildings in Brooklyn. So a group of, young Hasidic Jewish men came to protest these tunnels that nobody knew existed under New York City. And we'll watch some of the videos and go over it on the pod and post some clips about it too, so you can actually see it. But you will see how truly bizarre this story is once we pull up this video footage of these, excavated tunnels. You'll see baby strollers, blood-soaked mattresses. It's getting super spooky. So let's watch this video really quickly, and then we can talk about it.
Catch me up on this, but why were they riding with the police? Did they want in the tunnel? Was there something good in the tunnel?
Well, it's their tunnels, right? No one knew they were there except for them. So the New York City Synagogue has been hiding these secret tunnels. But why? We still have no idea why. So some of the conspiracy theories revolving around these tunnels are interesting. Let's watch the second video that we have just to cover all our bases, and then I'll start talking about the conspiracies that revolve around them.
You've probably seen these tunnel videos somewhere online, and if you're like me, you're probably wondering, what the actual F is going on here, but just stop scrolling for a second. I did some research and here's what's actually going on. On January 8th, around 10 men were arrested and charged with criminal mischief by the New York Police Department. This brawl broke out because of these secret tunnels. This all happened right here in the Chabad Lubavitch World Headquarters. It's in Crown Heights, Brooklyn. It's a synagogue for a Hasidic Jewish congregation. This building is the center of the Chabad Lubavitch World Movement. It's considered by many to be an iconic site in Judaism and is visited by thousands of people every year. Engineers have been trying to fill in this tunnel system since discovering it in December, and that was built without permission. And a group of men showed up to protest against that. But why were these tunnels here in the first place? They're the result of a decades-long conflict between the Chabad Lubavitch community and a smaller sect within that group. In 2006, a lawsuit ruled that Chabad had full ownership of the building. But according to the Jewish Chronicle, a small group of students from the second group are more than likely responsible for the digging of these tunnels. Reports like this one in the New York Times suggest this digging was done as a way to expand the building, giving more room for worship. In a statement, the Chabad Lubavitch community said they are pained by the vandalism and they're going to be doing a full investigation. You can pause to read the full statement. This incident has also seen a load of anti-Semitism and conspiracy theories online. The Anti-Defamation League said it's really worrying that people are using this to propagate age-old conspiracy theories that are anti-Semitic. They also say at a time of rising anti-Semitism worldwide, it is more important now than ever that good people stand up against Jew hatred.
Oh, geez. Well, the end of it was intense. Okay, so without diving into anti-Semitism, give me some of the conspiracy theories here. I would note if you are just listening to the podcast, what was happening visually on the screen was actually super interesting. So that was the first time that I've watched that. And these tunnels, some parts of the tunnel look like if a mole rat dug out the tunnel, right? It's not smooth. It's just, it's a tunnel. But then some parts of it, there was like porcelain tile in rooms that were dug out, which was super interesting and actually goes to kind of support the whole acceptable answer that, hey, these were built for worship, because it's not just a tunnel. It's like an underground complex. But I'm always in for a good conspiracy theory. So run me through some of your favorites.
I mean, none of these are great, right? The first one is child sex trafficking. Terrifying. They think the tunnel was maybe used for trafficking children or involved in some creepy type like pedophile ring. We hate to see it. There's no evidence supporting these claims. Don't ever take us as the news. I got this from the internet. We are not the news. Second one is ritualistic occultism. Pretty scary. So they're trying to say the tunnels were dug for occult rituals connected to demonic worship, which kind of checks out based on what you're visually seeing in the videos. It doesn't look like the nicest place to congregate for worship. And then government cover-ups. So city officials conspired to hide the tunnel's true purpose and are in cahoots with synagogue leadership. This is really probably just people having distrust in authority and trying to find reasoning and hidden meaning in these events. But I'm not sure. And then the last one is Masonic connections. So here we go. There is a head member of Chabad, and his name was Menachem Mendel Schneerson, and he died in 1994. And part of the idea is that he's still alive, hidden. And the motivation behind this is to facilitate secret practices or have access to the synagogue to prepare for his return. So as none of these have evidence, as most conspiracy theories do not, it's definitely freaky. It freaks me out that this exists. And doesn't it just make you think, like, how many tunnels do we not know about? Is what I'm thinking.
Okay, so yeah, definitely a little freaky, but I think a tunnel is always freaky, and going down any set of stairs that looks like that, and you're fighting cobwebs going downstairs, it's always a little freaky. I remember that my grandmother had a basement, and sometimes her basement had cobwebs that were, just on the stairs. And when I saw those cobwebs, because you associate like cobwebs with Halloween, with spooky movies, that basement was so scary. So I don't care. Anything that goes underground is terrifying. That was particularly terrifying because it looked horrible in some places. And then there was porcelain tile. And it's like, wait, why do you guys need white porcelain tile on the walls? So definitely freaky. I actually have a weird thesis. I actually think that they really did dig out that room where it looks like it's the first room that you walk into. It's kind of hard the way that the video is cut.
Yeah.
But it looks like the first room that you walk into. And my theory is that they actually just did build it as a place to like kind of hang. And then you'll see in the video, I think I saw this, right? But there was other tunnels off the side of the main room. My theory is once you dig a hole and you're like, wow, this is cool. You're like, that's kind of fun where you had this like secret thing. It's like you just keep going and you start to build more for the fun of it. But they did find some weird stuff in the tunnels, right?
Baby strollers, blood-soaked mattresses are at the top of what they keep showing and pushing on the news. But
that's a little freaky.
It's so freaky. It's so freaky. And it's really terrifying that they would have never really discovered this if the destabilization of the buildings in Brooklyn weren't happening. You know, it's like, how long has this been going on? And how many other secret tunnels or secret passageways do we have out here with people doing crazy nonsense?
Very weird. Okay. We saw something insane in the news that you were going crazy about. And let me just ask you this, because now you are an expert in this. What happens when a baby is born on a plane?
The word is skyborn. I've never thought about this in my whole entire life, what happens when a baby is born on a plane. But it has happened. Over 70 people worldwide are known as skyborns. And this is impromptu deliveries that increase the manifest mid-flight. So this is really interesting. It wasn't on the news. I was reading an article about it and I was just like, for the amount of times that we fly, I've never even considered, even for a second, that somebody could give birth mid-flight or die mid-flight, because that happens pretty often too. So the term is skyborns, which I love because it sounds like something out of Avatar and it's hilarious. But something about this that I thought was really interesting is the citizenship of the baby when they're born mid-flight. So I looked it up and it said blankly, aviation regulations for pregnant flyers vary by airline, and citizenship of babies born in planes depend on the aircraft's country of registration. That's insane. That's insane.
That is so cool. So if you are on a Singapore Airlines flight and you're going from San Francisco to Singapore and your baby is born over the Pacific Ocean, it would be a Singaporean national?
I definitely disagree with the fact that it should vary airline by airline. That's insane. We need to have like a blanket rule of what happens here when out of nowhere you have an infant child born on a plane. That's so crazy. Obviously, like you and the mom will be taken to a hospital when you land, but no one ever thinks about what happens mid-flight.
As a woman, and I'm sorry that I don't know this, but is it even safe to fly when you're 9 months pregnant?
They don't recommend flying if you're in your third trimester, but it really just depends on you got to consult your doctor and get advice from your doctor. The last one that I saw, this was in 1990, so it was a while ago. I'm sure one has happened since, but her name was Debbie Owen. She was on a British Airways flight and she gave birth mid-flight. And it was, there's obvious complications that come along with this, right? Like the normal factors that you would think of lack of specialized equipment and lack of standard procedures and altitude risk. But over 70 reported births midair that we know of since 1929 have gone well. And you just add another little passenger to the manifest at the end of your flight.
Oh my God. And I guess that you have to know the baby's name, right? You have to agree on it because you have to add the passenger, right? So what if River gets added? I guess he has to get added.
You just name the baby Sky, obviously. Guy or girl. And something I read that was really interesting. Per the U.S. State Department, he or she would be officially classified as born in the air. Very interesting. And with the US, like vice versa, if someone internationally was flying over here, the US unusually always grants citizenship to any child born on a plane over the US. And it just goes back to the airline by airline regulations and seeing what the registration of that aircraft is. So, pretty interesting. If you ever hear the word skyborne, now you know what it is. It is not something from, the most recent Mission Impossible movie. It is a real thing, and it's a baby born mid-flight. So crazy.
This is so insane and so moving that I'm going to pitch it to Allfly that we can partner with one of our great meeting planners, and we should put on an event where we invite all of the 70 people who are considered skyborn to like
cool.
a big retreat. We'll have to talk with one of our meeting planning partners, see who's up for it, and then we have to send this out to the world. We want to meet you 70 people, and let's throw a retreat and have all of you guys meet.
The Skyborn offsite?
The Skyborn retreat? Come on, that has to happen, right? Let's make this happen.
Idea. I mean, I feel like since 1929, it says there's been 70, so, we might have
listen, if we get 30 to 40 people showing up to the Skyborn retreat, I would consider that a success.
That's a success overall.
Totally.
I did. Was it you that was telling me that you were on a flight where somebody like had hardcore medical issues, or was that not you?
No, that was me. It was maybe my best plane story. So I think it ranks as a story as like a 6. So it's not my best story. I was on a plane and I was traveling from Orlando to New York City. So those planes, as you could imagine, have a bunch of New Yorkers on them. Mid-flight, you just see 2 of the flight attendants go sprinting down the aisle and then sprinting back up to first class. They shut the curtain for first class. I, of course, wasn't coach. And all of a sudden, they start asking, is there doctors on board? There was 2 or 3 doctors. One goes to the front, goes behind the curtain. And there was so much commotion that everyone on the plane was convinced that someone just died in first class. And we were probably like over in North Carolina, so we had probably still like an hour to go in the flight. And when we landed, they made everyone stay on the plane because they said that the like medical staff has to come on the plane first. So they wanted everyone to stay seated in their seatbelts, yada, yada, yada. And the medical team went in there and they went in with a stretcher. So everyone is like, oh my God, this person died. This is insane. And it took a while to like get them onto the stretcher. And I would say it probably took like 15 minutes where people were just like sitting there looking, trying to peek, like, did this guy die? And they pull back the curtain, the stretcher comes out, and the guy lifts his head and gives everyone a thumbs up. Now, these crazy people from New York see this. They've now been delayed. Some of them are going to misconnect, and a bunch of them booed this guy. They would have rather him been dead. And never in my life have I just thought in my head so hard, welcome to New York.
That is so funny and also sad. He's like, I'm alive. Everyone's like, boo.
I mean, we did wait there on the tarmac for quite a good amount of time. So yeah, a guy got booed for not dying on a flight to New York. And that's New York City, baby.
And that's just the big apple. An emergency landing is actually not required if someone dies mid-flight. So like the task at hand is just to take care of the body for the remainder of the flight, as if the flight attendants' jobs weren't hard enough already. And then you just gotta take the normal course. That's pretty freaky to think about too, because you wouldn't really know, like what if you have been on a flight where someone died and you just didn't know? Because your ass is in first class and you leave first. You have no idea.
Okay, so let's wrap this show up with a question from the audience. We used to do One Question Friday. It kind of went to the wayside. We're only filming once a week. So we want to throw in an audience question here or there. Here is the question. I am a travel manager at a mid-sized company and new to my job. We are running an incentive trip, and our team wants to know what happens when a team member or one of their travelers cancels their flights. Is there anything to do for our company to get their money back?
This must be an all-fly person coming over to Travel Nerds. I love to see it. Yeah, at All Fly there is. So what we do is we have a specific clause that's just for us. It's called the Ticket Protection Plan. And if you're flying Delta, American, or United Airlines, we can get you cash back on canceled tickets and give the cash value of that fare back to the company. It is only on those 3 airlines, and outside of that, we'll just have to honor the other airline policies. But as long as it's outside of 24 hours and you're under a master bill, you can get your canceled fare back.
Okay. So let's take this a step further. What happens if somebody cancels on, say, Alaska, or let's call it Southwest? And what happens to their fare if their company pays for the fare?
Yep. So typically, whoever the name on the ticket is, if that fare gets canceled or the ticket gets canceled, the credit will go back on the traveler's profile. So that's why the ticket protection plan is awesome when you fly those other 3 airlines. But typically, it just goes back on the traveler's profile as an e-credit.
And then basically the company and the traveler have to work that out on what to do when that happens. So it's not really on the travel management company. It's more on the employee and the company. That relationship, they have to have rules and clauses because every company has to deal with this problem. Mm-hmm. So inside of your internal company travel policy, this has to be addressed.
Yeah. Could be a lot of money lost. So use AllFly and we'll help you out.
But just on those 3, we're not wizards. Our magic only extends to Delta, American, and United.
We're not wizards yet.
But we're trying.
Yet. Awesome. Well, you guys, thank you for listening. That was a short episode today. If you didn't know what a skyborn was, you do now. And these tunnels, man, I would love for you guys to comment and give us further information. Obviously, we're just reading what we see in recent articles on the internet, which we can't always trust. So maybe we'll cover this a little bit later as more stones are unturned. But if you have any suggestions for what you want us to talk about, email hello@travelnerds.co. Follow us everywhere @travelnerdspod, and have a beautiful day. Later, nerds.